Hello, everybody. I'm James Parks, aka Zenoyer, and I want to talk to you about some things going on right up in here. Hey, Scooby Doo. My little puppy wanted to say hey to me because he knows I'm talking. But yeah, I'm not very happy about what's going on with the ICE. They've been like killing our folks. So far, since the Trump administration, one person every 10 days has died because of ICE. People ain't very happy, naturally. You got Christy Nome up there lying her butt off, and Bombino and all those other goons making excuses and lying like that fella. Oh, he had a gun. They never say anything about, yeah, he was a licensed gun, uh, um, concealed weapon carrier, and he wasn't brandishing it. They just shot him 11 fucking times. Give me a break. you know, and people, they're talking all kinds of stuff like, kind of violent stuff. And I'm afraid some more people are going to get hurt. It's really upsetting. So I'm an old man, you know. I don't know, maybe because I'm old, I get a little more emotional because life means something to me a little more than it did 40 years ago. You don't mind if I have a smoke on my Marahoochie, do you? But anyway, yeah, you know, all these protests that's been going on, it's a natural reaction to what's happening in America. You start killing our folks, like they expect Americans to just lay down and take it. For years and years, you got all these gun rights advocates, A2 advocates talking about the reason why we have guns in the first place is to defend against government tyranny. And for a very long time, my opinion about was the founders meant to defend against the tyranny of foreign governments. I never imagined it that would happen here, that we would have to defend against tyranny in our own government. But that's what we got. And it ain't gonna get better doing what we're doing. We can't keep doing the same old things and expecting different results. We've been marching for years. When I was a little boy, my family moved from Jim Crow Jacksonville, Florida, up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That was like in 1968. They were having a lot of race riots up there. That was right after Martin Luther King got murdered. There were race riots going on like crazy. I remember seeing National Guard troops in the streets. We moved back down to Florida. I guess mom couldn't take it. So we moved back down to Jim Crow, Florida. Oh boy. But all those riots happened back then. All the riots happened in Kent State. Riots here, protests there, and has anything gotten any better? No. Things gotten worse. And they're going to continue to get worse unless you do something about it. You have to take control of the government. You have to capture the government because corporations already have captured the government. It goes like this: from the American Legislative Exchange Council, they get all the rich buddies together, they go in there, they figure out a bunch of boilerplate laws, then they get approved by the corporate boardroom. A lobbyist gets them, takes them to government, and crams them down their throat, gives them a little cashola here and there. Boom. Now all of a sudden you got right to work laws and all kinds of other stuff like that. All of a sudden, like, you're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week and you still can't make ends meet. That's what's going on. That's what's been going on all this time. They figure, oh yeah, let them riot, let them get upset, they'll cool down, they'll forget. We'll take the lessons we learned this time and apply them, and things will be even worse. So you have to capture the government. And the way you do that is the Speaker of the House and all those committee chairs, they have got to become nonpartisan positions. Think of it like this. Imagine a baseball game where in which the players each inning they got to pick out their own umpire. And when they did, they always picked a guy from their own team. And that goes for all the people, all the umpires on base, all of them. And every time team switches, they get new umpires picked from the team. You dig it? That's what we got in Washington, D.C. right now. We've got Team Republican and we got Team Democrat, and both of them are picking umpire, Speaker of the House from their own ranks, and they're throwing committee chairs, the base umpires, in there from their own ranks. Just like Jim Jordan. He's a prime example. He was at that oh, I can't remember his name right now. He's like the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, I believe. Jordan. Can you imagine that? Judiciary. That's like that has the word judicial in there, right? Him. I think we'd be a lot better off if that position was a nonpartisan seat, where that guy or gal sitting in that chair, they couldn't belong to no political parties. They have to disavow allegiance to political parties. They have to vow to run that committee in an unbiased, nonpartisan manner. Same with the Speaker of the House. And until that happens, all we're going to get is more of the same. We're going to get more gridlock. We're going to get more obstruction, more people dying on the streets at the hand of government officials. And you'll never get codetermination. That's one of the other things that you got to have to solve this problem. Because, like I said, it goes from Alex to the boardroom to the lobbyists to government. So you got to put labor and the community in the boardroom. 50%. You got to have 50% stockholder interest and 50% community labor interest. Plain and simple. Because right now, all you got is stockholder interests, and all they're doing is messing everything up for everybody except for themselves. That's why that's why their pay has went up like 400 and some odd percent. It's ridiculous since the 60s. Maybe your pays went up 10%. There's this, well, no, actually your buying power is going down. Your wages, they've been stagnant for so long that it's pathetic. First they they steal all the money from the poor folks, man, keep everybody at each other's throats so they can do it. So they're all distracted, white men against black men, and you got men against women, the gender wars, and the this war, and that. And they got and religion. They got us divided up every which way to Sunday while they're picking all of our pockets. You know I'm right. So you got to stop them from doing that. And the way you do that is you put some people in the boardroom, put some of our people in the boardroom. The missing voice, the voice that should have been there from the beginning, the voice of labor, the voice of the community. You take that Carrier air conditioner plant that closed up in Indianapolis, what, like 10 years ago, I believe it was, when Trump was first getting into office, all right? They had a company meeting. You can find it on YouTube. Just look for it. The Carrier air conditioner plant closing in Indianapolis. They had a employee meeting. All the employees were standing there. They had the big boss man up there on the podium. He said with a straight face, well, folks, for the good of the company, we're going to have, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, for the good of the company, we're going to have to shut this plant down and move the operation to Monterrey, Mexico. It didn't go over too well, believe me. They're just like, oh, don't worry, this ain't going to happen for a couple years. Hey, that couple years was 8 goddamn years ago. All right. What happened to all those people? They were pissed. There was people saying, we'll tear this shit up and stuff like that. They were absolutely pissed. And they had a right to be because they were betrayed. They worked their butts off building up that company only to be thrown out on their ear. I bet you a million quatloos that if labor and the community of Indianapolis had reps on that board of directors, that wouldn't have happened. That's what I wager. What do you think? Tell me in the comments if anybody's looking. I don't think anybody is so far. 0 views. You know why? This kind of stuff gets suppressed. They want you to go out there and riot in the streets and protest and all that, but they don't want you to have a nonpartisan Congress. They don't want you to have codetermination in the corporate boardroom. Are you kidding? They would kill to keep that from happening. I'm not being hyperbolic here neither. They would. They've got it. They have codetermination in Germany, and look how good they're doing. Oh, wait a minute. American excellence. Yeah, American excellence is screwing the people over that has built the wealth of this nation, labor. If it wasn't for labor, there wouldn't be nothing. This chair I'm sitting in, this microphone I'm talking in, this computer that I'm working on, and this house that I'm living in, all of it. Those cars and that caviar and whatever, $35,000 bottles of wine and all that shit. All of it. Labor. Without labor, there is no economy. So that's how you gain control. See, because they're not going to like make a nonpartisan Speaker of the House or committee chairs voluntarily. They're not going to make codetermination voluntarily. Are you kidding? They'd rather cut off the right arm than do any of that. So you have to force them to. And all the protest marching in the world isn't going to force them to. Those boycotts now we're talking. Whenever I've seen people talk about economic boycotts, my heart lifted because I've been talking this stuff for a long time now. That is labor's ultimate power, the economy. Because like I said, labor is the economy. The community, the purchases, the hands, the minds, the work, the effort of labor, the common folks, that is the economy. All those rich guys and wealthy slobs, they're just skimming off the top. You know, I don't hold it against nobody being like a millionaire or even a billionaire. What I do hold it against is whenever they're treating the people who got them there like dirt. They need to be appreciative before they lose everything because they don't have nothing unless labor lets them have it. Do you dig what I'm saying? Remember the French Revolution? Remember the Bolshevik Revolution? They thought all the rich, I was about to say a bad word, all those rich people thought they had it just all good until they didn't. That's what we going on. That's what we got going on right here. So what do? You withhold your work. Yeah. You boycott all those stores. You don't go buy nothing. You know, one day, if that ain't enough, you do it for 2 days. If 2 days ain't enough, you do it for a week or a month or a year. You do it until it's done. Because if you don't, things are going to get undone. Your life and your kid's life. Now, I'm an old man. I might not even be here long enough to see it. I hope I am. You know, if I died and know that we had codetermination and codetermined boards of directors, That would be a happy death for me because right now, if I died, I would have a bad death. I'd be in misery thinking about my young kinfolks who still have many, many years to go. So there you go. You have to put the screws to them. You have to quit buying stuff. You have to quit driving your car for a while. You know, when you go to that protest march, don't stop at the store on the way buying soda pops or whatever. Instead of going to Walmart or whatever and buying poster board to make a sign, don't spend any money. Make a sign out of old cardboard you got out of the dumpster or something. Anything but buying something from them unappreciative folks. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve your being a customer if they're going to treat you like that. And those politicians, they don't deserve your vote if they're going to treat you like that. They always they always are promised this and that, things get better. Vote for the Democrats, things are going to get better. No, vote for the Republicans, things are going to get better. Make America great again, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's got great. Nothing's got better. And then you get these politicians going around talking about how, oh, I'm just as good as George Washington, if not better. What a bunch of baloney. If they respected the founders of George Washington in particular, they'd have a nonpartisan Congress right this very minute. They'd have a nonpartisan Speaker of the House right this very minute and committee chairs. Then maybe we can get some laws passed in this nation that doesn't screw everybody over, or any laws passed at all in gridlock and using the budget as a weapon to beat each other over the head with, like trying to get rid of the ACA by shutting down the government. Oh no, we can't talk this out. We'll force it through by shutting down the government and making us suffer for it. Aren't you tired of it? I am. That's the only way you're going to get it is just put the screws to these money grubbers. Stop buying their stuff. Stop working even. Quit paying your bills. Well, they would hate me for saying all this, but I don't know what else to do. I know going out there with a bunch of guns and everything and shooting and fighting in the streets, that ain't gonna do nothing except maybe get real tanks and shit out there and real hurt people. So you use the most powerful weapon you have, the economy, or the lack of your participation within the economy. You see, I did some studying about it. If like 25% of the American workforce went on a 30-day strike and stopped buying stuff, and everybody started like 70, cut back on their spending 75%, the economy would tank. The stock market would crash. Supply lines would break. There would actually be a lot of damage because, like, there are chemical plants and refineries and all kinds of processes all over this nation that they got to be maintained constantly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When one guy leaves, another guy's right there taking over. Because if they don't, really, really bad things happen. I don't want to see any of that kind of stuff happen. But damn it, we got bad things happening already. We got our people getting killed, gunned down in the street because they don't believe we'll do anything about it. They don't believe we're serious. You watch. Whenever bank accounts start running, all those all those corporate big shots, multi-billion-dollar corporations and stuff, they depend on a constant stream of income. from you and me so they could pay their bills. All of them are in debt up to their neck. They're just floating like that much above above debt. Whenever they stop aren't able to pay their bills, banks start crashing. Shit starts getting serious. Let's see what happened about that 1 day strike. And see what is the result of that. And if it gets things done, good. It ain't gonna get everything done. Not uh, a nonpartisan Congress and codetermination. Without those two things, you might as well forget it because there ain't nothing going to get any better anytime soon. Honestly, without a lot of bloodshed. And we don't want that to happen. I know I don't want it to happen. I've seen too much violence in my life already. I've had up to here with violence. So, that's what I got for you. That's what I got for the guy I saw standing in the woods a while ago talking about how everybody needs to get ready, and for that lady talking about, we all need to be solid and everything, and a lot of how. I see a lot of people talking about what's happening and how are we going to do something about it. There's my how. Strike nationwide, prolong economic boycott and labor strike. That's how you put the screws to the economy. That's how you exercise your true power in solidarity. And when you do that, you better make damn sure you have some demands to go along with it. Nonpartisan Congress, codetermination, a thriving wage, yearly cost of living increase, stable Social Security. I got a few more, but those are the basics. But and those first two, get those or forget about the rest. Nonpartisan Congress, codetermination. Go read George Washington's farewell address. He put it on the line in no uncertain terms. I I implore you, go read that, and I'll leave you with that. Take care of yourself now.